Oh God, please tell me this is it for this freaking series. Oh, okay. Alien Earth, episode 8. The Real Monsters, the season finale of hopefully just the first season and only season of Alien Earth. I have tried to give this series the benefit of the doubt. When I first heard about it, I thought corporate espionage, spy.
Creeping with the razor claw.
I read Alien Covenant Origins, and I just loved the corporate espionage aspect to it, the politics of it. And I was hoping that was going to be for the show, but so let's go ahead and do this. Look, I had a bunch of notes, and for those who don't know, my computer crashed. I had to go buy a new computer. And not only that, about a new computer, I can't find the notes. So if it seems like I'm all over the place, and plus, I'm frustrated at how this season ended. Thoroughly trash. So let's go ahead and get on to episode 8, The Real Monsters. Anyways, so the episode starts off with a shot up on the beach. There's a crab on top of him, and then the Xenomorph ends up, coming over there and looking at the crab. And I'm thinking, okay, the Xenomorph's gonna feed on his corpse, and the Xenomorph disappears and nothing happens. I don't understand what the hell that was for, but I thought the Xenomorph was either going to eat the crab or start feeding on the man's dead body. Didn't either. Just straight up dip. Now, the Xenomorph, they showed this weird montage of saying that the Xenomorph is running around killing people. We don't actually see this. We see dead body parts. But I was sitting here looking at this, and I'm thinking to myself, ain't that the same dead bodies from the previous episode where the Xenomorph killed the Utani that confronted Joe, Nibs, and Wendy? So y'all just showing the same scene but from different angles. That's what it looked like. But I was like, should it be showing them literally killing prodigy people or scientists and civilians or something? The military, you don't see that. You can see a bunch of like the aftermath of it. And I could have sworn that the same shots of the previous episode when Utani got killed. So I'm like, well, if they killed Utani soldiers, ain't that good for y'all? But it doesn't make sense. So now the hybrids are all together in the cage. Why they are all together in a cage? Because it's specifically stated that they're superhuman, that this cage wasn't built for the hybrids, and if you put like 5 or 6 hybrids in there, they can get out anytime they want. Dumb. If you're gonna do it, you should isolate them. And then the way that they're brought together doesn't really make sense either, because if you think about it, Curly is supposed to be with Kavalier. Because they started building her up as the anti-Wendy, which I really wanted to see. But it goes nowhere. So she's in there with them. You got Nibs, that's crazy. She doesn't show any signs of being shot. She's still just crazy. You got Wendy just sitting here just drooping, just looking wild. Smee and Slightly, why are they in there too? They should be in a separate cage somewhere else. Like the way, and Wendy should be separated from everybody else because she's basically contaminating the other characters. But the way that they're presenting these characters, these hybrids, these kids, they're doing it all wrong. It's just ultimately just dumb. So Wendy is starting to influence them, saying that, hey, why are we afraid of the people that built this? And it kind of feels kind of like the David thing that we saw in Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which I'm not too much of a fan of, at least with the android ideology. If there was a good basis of the androids kind of subverting their programming and kind of developing their own thing, then maybe but the story isn't really set up for that outside of philosophical conversations that you have in the prequels, but not the original films. So they bring that up, and then next you know, Wendy starts messing around with the computers, starts messing around with everything, manipulating everything. That's an interesting conversation that they start. Nibs says something about, she's like, we're ghosts, and then Wendy's like, what do ghosts do? And she says haunt. And so she started messing around with the electronics and stuff. Now, there was a scene either around this particular scene or before where it's saying that there's no communications on the island. Utani is coming there. They block communications. Now, Prodigy is one of the... it is as powerful, if not more powerful than Utani. And you're telling me Utani is able to invade y'all? And there's no contingency plans, there's no escape plans, there's no way they can get out or figure this out. And as much as he's talking about going to war and the threat that poses to the company, and you're telling me that Utani took out the communications and did all of this stuff, and then the Xenomorph is like their side of James Bond and just wiping out the personnel and everything. So it doesn't make any sense. And then instead of there being, I would say this, there's literally no urgency. A Xenomorph is running around killing people. Everybody act like they don't care. Kavalier doesn't care. He's just sitting in his office. He's not trying to get out of there. He's not taking any precautions regarding the aliens, the Utani forces that are coming. He's not doing anything intelligent. So Wendy ends up unlocking Joe and Morrow's cell. They have an interesting conversation, and Morrow does tell him that, you know, Joe says something to him regarding something, but Morrow said, well, I did save you from the alien. He was like, you shot me, bro. I'm like, oh, he saved you from the alien. He didn't shoot you, stunned you. But, you know, it's kind of cool that he didn't kill Joe, because he pretty much let everybody else die or killed other people or got people killed. So, okay, I mean, it's a fair point. So Morrow's like, I'm gonna burn this place to the ground. Does not do that or even come close to doing that in the slightest. And I'm thinking he's gonna start wilding out. No, he only has like one scene. But there's a scene where he goes and he finds Kirsh. Now I like the scene, but the scene doesn't make sense, because I'm like, if you were supposed to burn this place down, if this facility was as sophisticated and as big as it's being, as well as it's not being portrayed as much as you would think it would be, you would think it'll take him a while to find Morrow. Morrow to find Kirsh. Morrow finds Kirsh almost immediately. So I'm thinking to myself, so the jail cell area is really like down the hall from the containment laboratory area. And that's where it comes out being. Now we do get a really cool fight. It's not long. It looks like it's like 30 seconds, a minute most. And you see them going back and forth. You see Kirsh utilizing android strength and durability against Morrow's more adaptive fighting style, coupled with his cybernetic arm. It's a pretty good fight. I do think Morrow took a couple of licks. They probably would have put him down fat sooner, but I'm not sure how much of him is cybernetic outside of his arm. So there is that. It was a pretty good fight. Both of them pretty much got taken out. Kirsh ends up getting his back broken, but at the same time he does manage to incapacitate Morrow. Now during the fight they end up shooting the glass, and the banana hanging upside down creature ends up escaping. And the whole time I'm watching the sequence, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the scene where Morrow dies. Either Kirsh puts him down, or this creature that just got loose, who's in that room with them, the sealed room with them, is going to attack him because he's the only living creature there. And it don't. I was like, come on. Now, I was pissed off at who actually attacked later on. But I'm like, you got a perfectly good body right there. And you can say, well, he's cybernetic. But I'm like, no, he's still human enough for this thing to attack him. So I thought that was stupid. Kavalier ends up going to the hybrids and having a conversation with one security guard. And the whole time, Wendy is manipulating the systems in this place. I'm thinking to myself, I'm quite sure you thought about it as well.
Get in deep with
If
my alerts.
Wendy has shown,
my alerts. Creeping with the hunter.
If Wendy has
get in deep with the
shown the capability of manipulating electronics and computer systems and things like that, why would you put her in a room filled with screens that she can use to control computer systems, electronics, and networks?
I give them hell. Wander through the marsh, dead and tell no tales.
Straight up dumb. So Kavalier comes in, gives a bit of backstory that's completely irrelevant.
We breathe underwater and burrow under the
and then Wendy kind of does a cool scene. It's a cool scene, but it's a dumb scene. They're all in there, and then Wendy just like flicks her hand and the door opens up. Shocks Kavalier. She's like, because he's like, I want to tell you a story or something. And then she like flips her hand and the door opens. She's like, okay, then tell it. And cool scene, but it was dumb. So he tells a story about his upbringing and what got him to be where he at today. And it was a stupid story. It just reminds me just how much of a dumb character he is. Then something happens. The security guard, one guy with a handgun, pulls a gun, aims it at the hybrids. Nibs attacks him like cheetah from DC Comics and beats the hell out of him and kills him. Kavalier runs, and then Wendy ends up sending the Lost Boys to go get the major characters, take out the major characters, the major players. Now, this is a thought I had after watching this, a while after this scene. I was thinking to myself, how much, if Wendy can control the electronics and networks and stuff like that, how much of their actions is actually being controlled by Wendy? Are they actually acting in self-defense or in their own self-interest, or is Wendy influencing? Because she takes control, so you're like, okay, well, if she can do all this stuff, how do they know that they're making a conscious decision to help her? Because Smee is probably the most level-headed. Smee and Curly seem to be the most level-headed characters, despite their precarious positions. And they kind of join in, and it feels like it should have been a longer scene, more of a convincing than what it was, because earlier Wendy is looking at the screen. She sees her brother Joe in there with Morrow, and she's looking at him, and she's like, well, he betrayed us. He betrayed me because he shot Nibs. But I'm like, she doesn't acknowledge the fact that Nibs was killing his friend. And at this point, she's like, well, humans are humans, and we're above humans. And I was like, oh God, now we're going with that stupid angle. Look, you can still, you gotta see it like this. You can be a person, you can be an android, and then you end up becoming a person with an android body. You're still a person. You're a person. You're not the physical manipulation. You don't have the physical aspects of a regular person anymore. But you're still a person, just like you're an android too. It's just like, I don't understand that. You're like, we're something more. I'm like, no, y'all still deal with the morality of being a human, minus the chemical stuff, but have the physical makeup of an android. You're still basically a human. Anyways, but Smee actually shows a well-rounded character and says, hey, you know, he's still with us. He's still with us. And he gives Wendy a hug. Again, this one was like, please tell me that this is not the writing And this man just ad-libbing and making this up on the fly because he's doing a fantastic job. So, the whole thing where Wendy's like, okay, you go get this person, you go get this person, you go get this person. I thought that they were going to go kill him because I'm like, well, shit, at this point, she thinks they're all the devils anyway, and some people more than others deserve that outlook, but not everybody. So, anyways,
my lurks, get in deep with the my lurks.
Get in deep with the my lurk queen, crustacean leader of the lurk regime, fleecing.
It kind of threw me off. I'm sitting here looking at some more notes. I didn't like how Kavalier just doesn't take the whole situation seriously. And I understand. I heard somebody say that he just thrives in chaos. I'm like, I don't believe that because this man made a multi-trillion-dollar company. You can't, and it's from building something. Building stuff takes organization. And they try to allude to him having ADD. I don't believe this man got ADD. I just think that he's mentally retarded because he's done nothing but retarded stuff the entire series. And just the way he just came to this whole situation with Wendy, because he even says, well, y'all my property. And I'm like, okay, well, they are. But I'm like, if you're going to come into that kind of conversation, you need to come in with more nuance. You need to come on it from a philosophical. Because if you talking about you want to talk to a higher being that's smarter than you, how about use intelligence for the people that you talk with as it is? Now, I know some people like, well, the whole scene where he was talking with Utani at the little lawyer scene about owning the ship and stuff was really intelligent. No, it wasn't. It was stupid. Straight dumb, and I don't like it. He was just spouting stupid stuff the entire time when it could have been something much better, a much better scene. So Nibs ends up going to go catch Dame Silva. Now I didn't say this, but earlier Dame Silva was looking at the grave sites of the kids. And then the Xenomorph ends up showing up. And I was like, thank God. It's going to punch a hole in her freaking face. And she gets saved by Siberia, the other guy, and security forces, and prodigy forces. And the Xenomorph takes off, thus saving her. Now, what I didn't understand was, I'm going to say this. I like Siberia. She's one of the few characters that's shown a bit of personality, because if you look at the episodes when she interacts, she's always interacting with Joe, and she's always looking out for Joe's best interest. When you see her when they're working out, she's looking out for his best interest, although she gives him a little crap. When they're in the ship, she's looking out for his best interest. When they get on the island, she's looking out for his best interest. She warns him not to try to escape. And, you know, even when they get caught, she's still trying to get him to stand down. And she's one of the few, and I would say the same thing for the guy, but I see more of her interactions with him than the guys. So she's with them. They end up saving Dame Silva. Dame Silva, for some reason, they should be getting off the island, but they put this lady in her room. Nibs just drops from the ceiling like freaking Batman and captures her. I thought she was going to kill her, but she didn't. They captured her. Slightly goes, and Smee go to the lab. Slightly incapacitates Morrow. Smee incapacitates Kirsh. And the whole thing with Smee becoming like this agreeing with what's going on, I didn't like. With Wendy, I didn't like, because he even was much more reserved with the situation with Slightly. So why all of a sudden, he's agreeing to do this with Wendy, I don't know. And it makes me again think that she's possibly controlling him. So, this next scene I hated. So, the Siberia and the security forces are supposed to be heading to get better weapons. They end up going to a lab. Why did they go into this lab where these alien creatures are? and they see that containment has been broken from one of them at least. They go into this laboratory for no reason whatsoever. When I say literally no reason, I mean absolutely zero reason for them to be in that room. And Siberia rushes to this little area with the original Xenomorph, the one that got his head cut off by Wendy. And she's looking at this thing. She just opens up the thing and goes and looks at it. And I'm like, why? And behind two of the security forces, you see the plant creature thing, the plant pod thing, on the ceiling behind them, and it moves. And I'm thinking, okay, it's either going to snatch up the other guy, the Siberia's partner, from the response team, or it's going to snatch up one of the unnamed guys. No, these three guys were standing looking in her direction. The pod, she comes out, the pod thing snatches her. Not the people that it was closest to in the back. It literally went around the entire office and came and got her and just sucked her up. And she ends up, doing the stupid thing where instead of taking a gun and like maybe aiming at the creature up, she just starts waving the gun like this, screaming, shooting the other two guys, and the third guy, the friend guy, co-worker guy, ends up getting knocked out by Curly, and she ends up getting eaten. And I'm thinking to myself, she is the... If there's an A, B, C, and D level of characters, she was the D character, the characters with the D level character with the most personality. Why would you kill her off? You would either kill off somebody from the A, B, or C, and then so she got killed. I was like, oh my god, really? That was just dumb. I actually wanted to see more of her. Especially the part where you see Joe save her from Nibs. Just dumb. If anybody got killed that didn't deserve it, it was her. So, it is what it is. So, Adam goes to find Joe, which is weird because Joe, he was like just standing in the room. Adam was literally just standing in the room. So, Adam goes to get Joe. Takes Joe to the Kavalier's room where the eye creature is in there. Now, this part didn't make any sense. I was telling the missus. I was like, he takes Joe to the room. The containment door, the little containment thing with the lamb in it, sheep in it, is open. But the door to the room is open. So you would think that the sheep would have just walked out the door and into the facility.
Creeping with the hunter, my alerts.
So anyways, Joe goes in there, gets locked in. The eye creature comes out of the sheep, attacks him. He did do something smart for a change. He jumped inside the little containment thing so the creature couldn't get in, but then the creature came in through the feeding chute. And then it attacks him again. Wendy gets there and saves him by knocking it to the side. Now, how she hits the thing like 2 or 3 times, and this thing, and she's a hybrid, so you would think after 1 or 2 times, the first hit, like the thing would be dazed and die. It probably would have just burst upon the impact, but it doesn't. So Adam shows up, attacks Wendy, shows that he's an android, and then Wendy freezes him in place with her powers after saving Joe again from the eye creature. I thought that was a complete waste. I don't know. I've heard that there was subtle hints that Adam was revealed to be an android in early episodes. I guess I wasn't paying attention to him. Hell, like 2 episodes ago, I didn't even know the man's name. But it is what it is. So I just don't know.
Creeping with the hunter, my alerts. Creeping with the razor claw, my alerts.
So there's a part where there's a little back and forth between Joe and Wendy. Wendy still acting like a straight up bitch. You see Kavalier dancing and skipping through the halls like an idiot. How nobody knows where this man is, where the security forces. I have no idea. And then he ends up getting cornered by the Xenomorph. I'm like, yes, he's gonna get a whole punch in his face. I hate him. He's a stupid character. And then a bunch of soldiers show up. The damn thing attacks them, wipes them out without hesitation. Because for some reason, all these main characters, the damn Xenomorph sits there and looks at them and don't automatically attack them. And then Wendy and Joe show up. And when Joe actually, grows some balls and kicks Kavalier in the face. Now, at this point, all of the major players have been captured, and they're all in this jail cell together. And Wendy says basically that they're going to rule. She does call out Kavalier, and he kind of looks like he wants to cry. And, he's just a straight up prick. But why did they just didn't kill him? I have no idea. And it's kind of interesting because there were five major players: Adam, Kavalier, Kirsh, Morrow, Dane. And they're like 5 hybrids.
Creeping with the hunter.
I mean, take that from that what you will. But
my alerts get in deep.
I forgot that the eyeball creature ended up escaping, and guess where it takes her residency in? It takes her residency in Arthur's body, which is how many clicks away from the facility across forest and jungle. How did there's a facility full of people. We saw it. Kirsh had 100 people sit there and surround Morrow when he got into the facility. So you telling me this eye creature crossed the backwoods country, the Congo, to find a dead body on the beach and inhabit it?
We breathe underwater and burrow
stupid, just straight up stupid. So, now you Tiny are converging on the island. Wendy decides now that they're going to take over everything. And the Xenomorph, the adult Xenomorph, is hanging on the jail cell. Then the baby Xenomorph is on the jail, hanging with the jail cell too, like one big happy family. I did not like this episode. I hated it. It was one of the worst endings to a season ever. Look, I've seen some pretty bad shows.
Creeping with the hunter,
Batwoman,
creeping with the razor claw, my alerts,
She-Hulk.
My alert.
I've seen some pretty bad shows in my time that were just frustrating, and this show was frustrating from start to end. I've already seen the cracks at the beginning, but like I said, there was a lot of entertainment to go with it, and the setup was stronger then than it was now. But there's a lot that the writing got wrong. The writing and direction. And I don't think it's necessarily the directors, because I think it was 3 different directors that did the episodes. And the guy Noah, whatever his name, was like the showrunner or helped write the majority of the episodes. And I'm thinking to myself, these episodes, they don't flow well. There's not enough good consistency. Characters are poorly explored. The Lost Boys, it should have just been Wendy, because they don't really get into moments. This episode does not wrap up any satisfying conclusions. And yes, they said, well, it ends with them saying they're gonna rule, but I'm like, how does that affect the timeline? Because I'm at the point now, it's like, look, I get that they're trying to do all this extra stuff, but I'm like, you can't do this. There's a difference between expanding on the lore and making up new shit. And this, instead of them expanding on the lore, they're just making up new shit. And it does not work. Doesn't work. I didn't like that some of the major players didn't die. I hate the fact that they kept bringing back Arthur. The parasites should have been much more of a bigger threat. It should have been the flies went to the facility, started messing up stuff. The parasitic ones that go inside of you and drink your blood, they should have started infecting people. The Xenomorphs should have been killing people. The banana boat thing, pod, should have been. It should have been like a room full of them just picking people off and stuff. And then the eyeball creature, it should have been just like this thing where the eyeball creature was after Kavalier. Say it got into they got into the sheep got out, Kavalier's running from it, and it's after him, or it's got into somebody's body, and it's after him. Like, there could have been so many really good moments, so many epic moments. Even how the last episode ended with the soldiers on that dock with Joe and Wendy, who acted with an incapacitated Nibs. Why did this then begin with, hey, the Xenomorphs are coming, let's go shoot at it and kill them? I would have been fine with that. I still say Siberia dying was an absolute BS. When I say BS, I mean BS. And none of these knuckleheads, where two of them got shot, but not the last guy, didn't even raise his weapon to shoot the damn thing. He should have shot the thing and killed it. He could have saved it, but hey, it is what it is. I'm thoroughly disappointed with this episode. I'm thoroughly disappointed with this finale. I'm thoroughly disappointed with the direction, and I'm thoroughly disappointed with the writing. Everything about it just was not good. It's not good. The fade outs are bad. The editing, it's just not good. It is not good. And if they're talking about having a season 2, something wrong with these fools. This is one of those times. Look, I believe if you make a movie and the movie is so terrible, it should be difficult for you to get another job to make a movie until you come back with more experience or a better project or something. And this show is the same way. I feel like the person that wrote and directed this show definitely is like, okay, dude, you might need to had some difficulty finding a job after this, because this was absolutely terrible. When you make a show, especially a show that's on a franchise like this, you need to put your best foot forward. This needs to be your absolute best work because of how big the audience is. You can't just be lax with it. You can't just... All 8 episodes should have been crisp, and this could have been a really good show. Because of the setup and everything, because of the aliens, the parasitic aliens themselves were very intriguing, and people wanted to see more about them. Because of all of the videos, the theory videos surrounding these aliens and how these aliens contribute to the overall Alien franchise, and you just dump that into the trash can. And then the idea of having different corporate entities and all this espionage and spying and stuff and corruption and business deals and things like that could have been really good. It's the same thing I said I wanted to see in the RoboCop TV series. Corporate espionage, things like that that's going on in the background, and we didn't get none of this in this episode. So I ain't even finna say dilly dally no more. Episode 8 deserves 1 out of 5. I can admit that I've been very lenient on the show, but it's just bad. It's just a bad experience. If they were to do something smart with it, cool. I'm not looking forward to a season 2. I don't want there to be a season 2 because it's just going to be a garbage of season 1. And if they do say there's not going to be a season 2 and canceled, it would not shock me. They say it's a season 2 is going to shock me. But I don't know, because Batwoman was terrible. They got a season 3. Then you got Rings of Power, and you got multiple seasons. So I don't know. Guys, in the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts on episode 8. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button. The best we got going on this channel. And before we head out, just thought about it. In the comments, let me know, do you want to see a season 2? Or do you not want to see a season 2? Catch you guys later.